Today, we're going to be focused on local listings. So your hosts today are myself, Kevin Scholl. I'm a franchise field marketing manager, and Yvonne Matches, who is also a franchise field marketing manager. We split the duties between what we do 50-50. So anything you guys need for your field marketing needs, you have Yvonne and I to go to. So today we're going to be talking about local listings, and we're going to cover a couple of areas on what we do with local listings. So we're going to kind of define what are local listings. And again, this is kind of that high level overview. I'm sure a lot of you understand what a local listing is, but we really want to get into understanding what they are, why are local listings important to the hotels, but more importantly, we wanted to kind of walk you through how do we manage the local listings for you and for your property. And then we have a couple of takeaways at the end. So you're on the list, but what is the list? So when we talk about local listings, what are we referring to? So this is really a local business listing. So it's your online profile, and really what it does, it has that information about your hotel. So it's your address, your phone number, the website, hours of operation, any relevant details that the local listing publisher allows us to publish on their site. So it can be amenities, it can be reviews for like Google Business or Yelp or Waze. So it's all of that content data that we have on your property. Local listings are directories, they're websites, it's blogs, it's social media, it's apps. And really, what is the purpose of the local listing? The local listing is really about increasing visibility of the hotel within search. When we look at how most of our guests are going to find us, if they don't come brand direct, they're searching for properties, whether it's on Google, on Bing, on Safari, right? They're in these opportunities where they're going in and saying hotel near this, hotel near me. They're just going onto a mobile device and saying hotel, and the mobile device knows where they are, so it finds the hotel. So really, we talk about the local listings. That local listing is really that first opportunity that a guest may have to discover your property if they are not familiar with before they do their search. When we look at the variety of listings that we do have that content base, but we do again have the opportunity, depending on that publisher, to really kind of fill out as much information as we can. So it can be descriptions on the property, it's directions, it's opportunities to put promotions, menus if you have F&B. Like I said, it's got reviews. It's the opportunity on some of the publishers to respond to the reviews, but it's also an opportunity for us to create that visual story by imagery and video. So why are they important? So local listings are important, kind of as I said earlier, it's that discovery process. It really allows that opportunity for somebody who's looking for a hotel, who may not be familiar with the hotel, they're not familiar with the area. It's going to be that first impression, that first opportunity for them to come across your property. When we look at the data behind how people are finding our hotels, local listings and search is really kind of that number one spot of how they're finding us. So we kind of break it out into three areas of importance. So visibility is the dead horse that I keep building. Again, it's that idea of they're finding you within these publishers. Local listings also feed search. So when we talk about that search algorithm, when we're looking at the search engines, again, Google, Bing, Safari, whatever it might be, all of these content publishers, the directories, the websites, even the applications now feed their content into search. So the more opportunity we have to tell your story outside of brand.com, the more opportunity we have to rank and search. So part of our local listing strategy is, yes, it's that awareness piece, the optics of a consumer. It's being able to be found in maps. It's being able to be found in these apps. But the data side of that opportunity is the more places that we can list your property, the more increased opportunity we have for that being fed into search. And then the last is traffic. Again, we look at the opportunity of how people are finding our hotels. We want to make sure that if they're using Google Maps, if they're using Apple Maps, if they're using Waze, any of the opportunities that we have to when people are saying, okay, I know where I'm staying, but now I need to find it. We want to make sure that we are getting you across every publisher and every app or every tool that they may be using to help figure out, okay, how do I now get to the hotel? So how we manage local. So I think this will be part of our little session here today, where hopefully you guys can get some insight into really what we're doing and how we manage all of this across all these publishers. So when we talk about local listings, Our goal for local listings is that we have accurate information. So in order to have accurate information, our source of truth for how the hotel information is aggregated is through our CRM. So our CRM is where we store the hotel's data, and then we use that CRM as our source of truth when we're looking at how do we publish these listings, how do we update these listings, is the listing information accurate, how are we feeding all of these different resources. We feed that from the data from the CRM. So your property page is fed out of the CRM. We manage your listings across multiple channels directly. So we have direct access to certain channels where we're logging in and manually updating information. This would be TripAdvisor, the OTAs, Google My Business. These are all initial things where we'll go in and manually set up the accounts, manually set up the listing. We also manage your listings through a technology that we call Yext. So if you're not familiar with Yext, Yext is a publisher that we use that allows us to aggregate directly from the CRM. So it's connected to our single source of truth, and it pulls in any of that data that we have in the CRM and then automatically goes into Yext, which then publishes across multiple platforms. The fun thing with Yext is that it allows us to not only have text-based content, but we can put in images, we can put in video, we can set amenities. So really what Yext does is allows us to utilize the source of truth in the CRM and get your information to all of these different publishers so that we know that when we're publishing these listings, and part of what we do with the listings in terms of making sure that everything is accurate. So what do we look for in a listing? So we do audit the listings. So we have a source of truth. We have our tool Yext that allows us to publish across multiple platforms. But part of our process and what we do is we do audit the listings. Now we have a lot of listings. So I want to be truthful in saying when we do audit the listings, we're not auditing every single listing one at a time. We'll spot check listings. We have the Yext tool that will check listings for us. But what do we look for? So we're looking to make sure that we have all the information complete. So do we have all the text-based information complete? Is the address complete? Is the phone number complete? Does the hotel name match what's in the CRM? Are the amenities filled out? So any of the opportunity that we have as publishers to go in and say, did we give this listing all of the information that it allows us to publish? Are there photos? If we're able to put photos, do we have photography in there? Do we have the correct brand assets? Do we have the correct brand logos? Do we have the correct property logo? Is there video? Is there an opportunity for us to put in video? And this is where applicable. Some publishers don't allow, have video publishing. Some of our properties don't have, video for us to publish. But I will tell you, as we move into 2025, video is becoming a bigger part of the content that we're creating for our properties. And really what we're looking at is a path to get to where we're able to have some sort of video asset for every single one of our properties. It's whether it's a brand video that kind of focuses on the brand story for your particular hotel brand. If you have local video that you've shot, video is really becoming kind of the new photo, where when people are looking in search, Google is starting to prioritize people who have video over photography now. So all of these publishers are now kind of updating their local listings to allow us to go in and add video assets on top of the photography assets. So this is kind of what the spot checklist is. What we go in and we'll say, okay, we'll make sure that you've got all of this information. We make sure that you have all of the assets that we have available to publish for the property. So kind of diving into Yext, so giving you a kind of a bigger picture of what Yext does. So really, again, Yext is this tool that allows us to have consistent and accurate information anywhere in the digital world from a centralized single platform. So it's a curated list of publishers, and some examples of those publishers are Apple, Bing, Amazon, Google My Business, Waze, Brave, City Search. Amazon's a fun one, and this is a fun fact. So I don't know if you know this, but we do publish your property information to Amazon. And what Amazon is using this for is Alexa. So you could actually ask Alexa, where is the Sonesta Columbus downtown? And Alexa has that information, right? So Alexa is an interesting tool for us as a publisher because it's not a visual public. So you're not going on Amazon and seeing a business listing for your business. But if you talk to Alexa about your business, she'll actually be able to give you the business information that we're publishing through Amazon. So these are just some samples of the publishers that we have. And currently through Yext, we have a curated list of right around 75 publishers. So these are publishers that partner with Yext to say you have direct access to be able to send data to us through a feed. And as we look at managing our listings and as new listing opportunities come on board, our partner that we work with for the local listing platform, they're out negotiating these kind of deals with the publishers to say, hey, we have clients who would like to get content onto your sites. Can we get a direct link to publish that information? So right now, we are currently managing over 60,000 listings across the brand. So when we look at the processes that we handle manually for our properties, when we look at the processes that we handle through Yext, we look at all the different publishers and then all of the places that those publishers then send their information. Across the brand, we manage around 60,000 business listings for all of our hotels. So it's a lot of listings. But one of the things that we want to kind of prioritize is that we're not just focused on the quantity of listings. The more places that we have the listings, of course, it's very important for us. But really, it's the quality of the listings. So when we look at the publishers that we choose to publish with, when we look at the type of data and the type of tools that we're using to make sure we're publishing accurate information, it's really the quality. We want all of our listings to be accurate. We want all of our listings to have all of the information. We want all of our listings to be that best first impression. Out of 60,000 opportunities that somebody may have to find one of our hotels through one of these digital publishers, we want to make sure that they're getting the best experience, regardless of whether they're on Google, they're on Apple, they're on Amazon, they're on Waze. No matter where they find the property, we want them to have the best and the same experience across all of those 60,000 things. So as we kind of evolve how we handle local listings, it's really the split opportunity for us to make sure that we are everywhere that we need to be and that your property is getting placed on every single opportunity that we have. But it's also ensuring that that's a quality listing. So Vaughn and I's role with the listings is not only to manage to make sure you're there, but to manage to make sure that they're getting a quality experience and the guest is getting that best first impression. So when we look at 60,000 listings, we understand the information that we are presenting. We understand that we're sending photos, we're putting video, we're interacting with hotel information. So that in itself is a great opportunity of telling that story. But now that we're telling this story, what can we do with the data, right? So everything that we do, the kind of the theme of our series of presentations is the art and science, right? So we have the art of creating this content, the art of telling that story, but then it's what's the science that we can get from that art. So what we can do with this data that we're getting is because we're tapped into all of these interactions with the hotels, we have the opportunity across these publishers to gather information. And typically what that information is going to give us is what is the interaction, right? We can understand how many people interacted with your Google My Business listing. We can look at trends and data. We can look at last month, the property had 100,000 people look at the Google My Business listing. This month, 10 people looked at the Google My Business listing. We can look at that type of data to try and understand any trends for your markets. We can go into the markets and kind of look at multiple properties and say, are we seeing the same thing? Did we have a couple of different properties across the brand in the same market that all saw the same impact? Did it go up? Did it go down? So we can look at that interaction data to kind of get an idea of how many people are discovering and interacting with the local listings. We can look at search data. So we can look at how did people find that local listing? So a way for us to kind of look at trends and why people are coming into the market. So it's kind of a demand generation opportunity for us to be able to say, oh, we can look at people are using this search term and they found your Google business listing, or they found your Yelp listing, or they found the next door listing, right? We can kind of take that data to start to begin for Yvonne and I to go back and say, what are the opportunities that we have from the marketing side to really understand what's driving guests to be able to kind of find these listings through search. We can figure out the devices that they're using. We can say, okay, most of the people who are finding your local listings are going to be on smartphones, right? We can look at, okay, what does that give us opportunity to do something with our mobile advertising? We get demographics, search queries, all this kind of fun stuff. So part of our process in managing local listings isn't just the front side of it, but it's then now figuring out, okay, we have this data. How do we utilize that data to kind of figure out what's important? So this is something that we have as an opportunity to be able to share with you as well. So if you are curious about, hey, can you give me some information on the local listing insights? We certainly can. We have a lot of properties, so unfortunately, it's not something that we can just send out to everybody. But if you are curious about kind of what the interactions with your local listings are, just shoot Yvonne and I an email, and we can draft up a little something to send over to you. So this is kind of the balance of the art and science for local listings. So the importance for local listings is that first impression for the guest, but then it's also on the understanding our guest side, because it's another opportunity for us to get this source of data that we can then translate and figure out, okay, how do we utilize the data? How can it give us some interesting insight into why guests are staying at your property? And more importantly, how are they finding the property? So as we look at 2025 and we look at where we go with local listings, as with all things when we talk about the tech stack and marketing technologies, the future of local listings and AI. So AI is the big buzzword for everybody. And as much as I am an original creative who went to film school and learned how to shoot movies on actual film, AI is not my friend because I like the art part, but AI does have some fascinating science behind it. So when we look at the opportunities that we have for local listings, so our process of managing listings right now, there is some manual process. We do have a tool that we use that does aggregate and allow for us to make the process a little bit easier, but it's still kind of the manual audit process. We still have to go through and do the manual audit. We have to make sure that we're updating the information in the CRM. We're doing this kind of manual spot check. But as these aggregators are leaning into incorporating an AI, what we're looking at is the next iteration potentially of our tool that we use to aggregate that data will have an AI component. What that AI component is going to do for the hotel and for the listings is the AI will actually be able to audit. So the AI will be able to scan those 60,000 listings that we have and come back and say, hey, we discovered that there is a listing that has a telephone number that doesn't match the other listings. Hey, we discovered that a Google My Business listing is missing amenities. So the AI is actually going to become almost like the de facto auditing bot for how we manage local listings. So what this does for us is it allows us to create a system where the AI will go out, do the audits, and then come back and make those recommendations to your marketing team and say, hey, we noticed a discrepancy. What would you like us to do? And then we can approve, oh, yes, this is correct. Go ahead and make the change. And it will get you a future state where the AI will just make the change, right? The AI will be able to recognize that it scanned 10 listings for Costa Sur, and 9 of the listings had this phone number, and the 10th listing had this phone number. It'll understand that's the wrong phone number and automatically update that listing for us. So as we head into kind of the future of what we're looking at and how we manage our listings, this will be a part of it. Then what that allows for us to do opportunistically is expand the reach of the publishing, because we have, we curate our publishing now, and part of that's based upon just the management of that many listings. But as AI kind of gets incorporated into local listings and becomes smarter and easier for us to manage, it'll allow us to expand that 60,000 to 90,000 to 120,000, right? Depending on how far we want to go with the listing. And now Vaughn is going to cover some takeaways.
So after all the interesting information Kevin shared with us, I think the most important takeaway until we get to that point in 2025 where we got the process easier with AI, I think the best practice that we can all practice is review the listings. You know your property. Tell us if something has changed, something has been added, or something is not available anymore, and just reach out to us to help you making that content and data manually consistent through all those listings. But it's important that your properties and you communicate with us, share with us all the changes, and so we can help you make that consistency through all those channels, and the consumer is looking exactly the same throughout all this different listings and points of information. Reach out to us. We're always here to assist you, to help you, and we want to help you getting those contents and those that particular information updated. So if you don't know how to reach out to us, the next slide will show you that email. We'll reach out either Kevin or me. We're always managing that email. That's the way to reach out to us. And please let us know if anything else, if anything else we can do to assist you. We're here to help you all. And thank you so much for joining us today. And again, anytime you need assistance from the marketing team, we're here for you.